The Death God's Daily Troubles by MagicalDucky. Chapter 12.5. Commence Operation Unpaid Magical Girl Internship. The Goddess of Love's Divine Domain. Eliza's House. Eliza's point of view.
I want pancakes. A sigh left my mouth as I threw the romance novel in my hands to the floor before stretching my arms and rolling around on my bed. The sunshine outside shone in through the open window, warmly illuminating the bottom half of my bed while a faint breeze spread through the room. It was the same as always, just another peaceful day. But despite the picturesque scene, there was a lonely tone in my voice. Nothing but melancholic silence answered my request as I laid there, staring at the ceiling. A few moments passed before I sat up and stared outside at the clouds floating in the vast blue sky. It's been about a year since Kai left, and things have changed a bit since then. There's a lot that isn't the same anymore. This house just feels empty without him. And there's a part of my heart that still believes that one day he'll walk through the door and call me and Olivia over for lunch or something like nothing ever happened. But I know that's just a hopeless wish. A year is a long time, even for a god. And Olivia and I have learned to live with his absence. But if I'm going to be completely honest, the things that affected us the most is not having Kai around to do chores anymore. I mean, I miss Kai a lot, and mixed feelings bubble up in my heart every time I think of him, but I don't think the house can survive much longer without him to clean it up every day. I've even had to resort to cleaning up after myself recently. My room's currently a bit messy, but the truth is, this is actually the cleanest it's been in a while. I remember about a month after Kai left, Olivia and I were both still depressed, so neither of us cleaned up at all around the houses. The cleanliness slowly deteriorated, and until eventually it got to the point where it wasn't even fit for living anymore. After that, we had a huge trash purge, and I got the house back to a barely livable state again. But we knew it was only a temporary solution. We needed to change something, so I agreed to try and clean up after myself while Olivia would clean out the house a bit every week. We've been doing that ever since. I buried my face in the pillow and let the sound of the light breeze outside overtake the silence as I thought about what to do today. A few minutes passed, and I was deep in thought when the faint sound of the front door opening reached my ears. I snapped back into my senses before letting out another sigh and getting out of bed. I picked my book up from the floor and gently placed it on the desk as I held my hand up to shield my eyes from the sunlight. I stood there for a moment and gazed at the scenic view outside again before reassuring myself about my decision for what to do today. I closed the window and left my room with a smile on my face as I walked over to the living room where Olivia was. Olivia, do we have anything urgent to do today? Urgent? Not really. Today we're actually pretty free. Why? Well, was there something you had in mind, Lady Eliza? Yes, since Kai left, I've been thinking about it for a while. Should we find a new heroic spirit? A heroic spirit? Well, I guess it's been kind of quiet around here recently. And someone new to talk to would be nice. Great. Then I'll go and send out a request to His Highness to transfer over someone. He usually has a few heroic spirits on standby, and we have a pretty good relationship with him because of Kai. So he'll probably send over someone qualified. Transfer? No, thank you. Especially if it's one of his cronies. They'll probably just complain about how run down the house is, or praise how magnificent His Highness the God of Light is compared to us. We'll never hear the end of it. I think we should just find a talented rookie instead. I held my hand up in the air and struck a confident pose as my eyes sparkled with determination. But it looked like Olivia wasn't as keen on finding a diamond in the rough as I was. Her eyes glazed over as she looked at me with an empty smile before letting out a dry chuckle. A talented rookie? Lady Eliza, are you sure you understand what you're saying? What talented person in their right mind would want to be hired by us? Let's be real. Just look at us. We have nothing except our divine domain and this house, which, by the way, is always messy thanks to your antics. The only reason we're even getting by nowadays is because of the salary we get for being Kyle's jailers. Why would someone with talent join us over one of the high gods or even one of the lesser gods? I don't think we can even afford to pay them very much. Olivia's arguments shot through my plan like arrows, and the luster in my eyes began to fade as I finally faced the facts of our situation. While the desperation began to set in again, I let out a sigh as I plopped onto the sofa and slouched backwards. A few seconds passed while I reworked my plan with our limitations in mind before calling out to Olivia again. Well, whoever we find doesn't have to be strong. We don't need a fighter. Hell, they don't even have to be qualified to be heroic. Honestly, just someone else to talk to around here is good enough. Anyway, since we can't afford to pay them, can't we just have them on an unpaid internship? Just call them a heroic spirit trainee or something? Unpaid internship? What's that? I heard about them from Kai. Where he's from, they have this thing called unpaid internships. It's when you have someone who's new work for you for free. Apparently, it's so they can gain experience in the field and eventually get a job afterwards. But Kai told me it was just really a shady way to exploit free labor from inexperienced newbies. Well, that sounds stupid. Who would ever fall for an obvious trap like that? That's what I said too, but Kai told me never to underestimate the stupidity of people. According to him, thousands of people fall for it on a yearly basis. Anyway, we can't pay any of our new hires, so let's try it out. We'll have something to do at least. Well, it sounds to me like it's just a waste of time, but if you insist, I guess we could give it a shot. So, what do we do now? Olivia let out a sigh as I lifted myself off the couch as a sparkle in my eye returned. I'm glad you asked, Olivia. Actually, there's been a plan that I've been meaning to put into action for a while now. Wait here for a second. I ran over with gusto to the closet nearby as Olivia watched me with a confused look on her face. The door to the small closet was torn open and a small cloud of dust flew out as I dug through the miscellaneous knickknacks to find the magical stuff. It was a long stick of slightly pink-colored wood, and the bottom of the staff had a fist-sized crystal embedded in a golden metal, while the top of the staff took the shape of a large hook decorated with light golden-colored feathers and tiny magic circles arranged to look like runes. I held the staff in my hands, patted the dust off it, and threw the rest of the junk I dug out of the closet back in before running over to Olivia with a smile. Ta-da! Here is a bona fide, one-of-a-kind magical girl staff. It's the only one of its kind in the entire world, and it was co-designed by yours truly. Wait, a magical what? A magical girl. Kai told me about them too. They're mysterious female heroes that use magic to fight against the hidden forces of darkness in the name of things like friendship and love. A perfectly fitting theme for someone like, say, me, the goddess of love. I heard from Kai that a magical girl usually has a cute familiar with a magical staff that allows them to transform into their costumes. So, while we can't provide a cute familiar, we can provide a magical staff. Now, let's see if this one still works. I channeled my mana into the staff, and it flowed around inside the wood before reaching the numerous fake runes at the top of the staff. Immediately, the magic circles all began to light up with a pink glow, and mana shot out of the runes to form a glowing ball of pure pink mana in the open center of the hook. A blinding pink glow spread out into the surroundings from the center of the ball of mana, and music mysteriously appeared from seemingly nowhere as a thin yet solid layer of mana molded over my body to form the clothes. When the transformation sequence finally finished, the pink glow absurdly died out into a burst of particles of pink mana like shattered shards of glass, and as the glowing ball of mana reformed onto the staff while music faded out, revealing me standing there striking a pose. I was wearing a short pink and white dress, lined with gold-rimmed accents. along with a pair of long pink gloves that reached past my elbows. White stockings, a pair of cute little pink shoes, fluffy frills and ribbons were lined all over the outfit, and on the side of my head was a single golden-colored hairpin in the shape of a bundle of feathers, just like the ones on the staff. Olivia stood there staring at me with a dumbfounded look on her face, as I put my hands on my hips and let out a triumphant laugh. Yes, it works, all right, Olivia. Commence Operation Unpaid Magical Girl Internship. I'll send you down to the main plane along with the staff, maybe near where I sent Kai, and you can go scout out a magical girl candidate. Wait, before we do anything, where did you get this? Didn't you hear me before? I co-designed it. It's completely powered by alchemy. Kai helped me out with all the technicals, and after hearing his descriptions about outfits, I designed how the costume and staff looked. It's our pride and joy. Here, take a look. I handed the staff over to Olivia, and she held it in her hands before beginning to inspect it. When did you make this? I don't remember ever seeing this before. If I remember correctly, it was around 200 years ago. It was purely fun at first, but we got bored of it after a few weeks, so it's been sitting in the closet ever since. Wait. This crystal is a dragon heart. These are phoenix feathers. The wood in the staff is even from the wood. It's from the world tree. Where the hell did you get the money to buy all this? Oh, crap, I remember why we never showed it to Olivia now. Think, Eliza, think. Where could we have found this? My face immediately cramped up, and I plastered a nervous smile on my face as cold sweat ran down my back. We found them outside? Ah, now I remember. About 200 years ago, there was a suspicious hole in our savings after I came back from visiting my family for a month. You and Kai told me that it was just a mistake in our records. But no matter how many times I redid the budget, I couldn't ever find the mistake, and I always felt that there was something you two were hiding from me. Olivia looked over at me with an angry smile as sweat poured down my face and my nervous smile started to tremble. Lady Eliza, what did you have to say for yourself? Olivia's voice was terrifyingly monotone. I slowly backed away from her, towards the couch, and stood there. Now, Olivia, I know what I did was wrong, and I definitely should have told you, but everyone deserves a second chance, don't they? I winked at Olivia with my nervous smile and stuck my tongue out cutely as I knocked my fist lightly on my head. But it seemed that Olivia didn't care much about my adorable acting, because immediately after I struck that pose, Olivia held the staff like a club and took a stance as I turned around and started running for my life. I kicked the door open and ran outside as Olivia started to chase me with the same angry smile on her face. Wait, Olivia! I don't care if you hit me, but don't hit me with the staff. You're going to break it. Do you even know how much that stuff costs to make? Adventurer Town, Delhurst. Nearby Rena's house. Rena's point of view. A light breeze blew by as I let out a sigh as I walked down the street towards my house. I turned right from the main road and entered a small pathway between two buildings as I navigated further away from the busy street behind me. I had just finished observing Sir Kyle from behind the bookshelves of the library earlier today, and my social anxiety was already kicking back in as I made another turn. My keys jangled in my pocket of my guild receptionist uniform as I walked along the alleyway, and I finally arrived at the front door of my house when suddenly a strange person dressed in a brown hooded cloak appeared from around the corner. I could tell by the stranger's figure that it was a woman, and there was a long pink and gold staff strapped to her back. The hood of her cloak shrouded the top of her face in darkness, but I could faintly see a pair of green eyes staring intensely at me from beyond what seemed to be glasses. An awkward silence filled the alleyway as we both froze, but after a few moments I heard her muttering to herself, "Lady Eliza, are you sure about this?" "Yes, I know, but why do I have to do it this way?" I stood there trembling as I watched the suspicious hooded woman talk to herself like a lunatic before she let out an annoyed sigh and reached out towards me with a smile on her face. Excuse me, miss. This might be a weird question to ask, but would you be interested in becoming a heroic spirit trainee? Look, I'll even give you this magic staff. The suspicious hooded woman pulled the staff out from behind her back before showing it off to me like she was trying to sell it to me. After getting a closer look at the staff, I could tell it was definitely an expensive magical item. Is she a con artist? If I touch it, it'll definitely break, won't it? I turned around and ran towards the main street as I screamed out for the guards. Guards, someone help! There's someone suspicious back here! Wait, that's not suspicious, I swear! I made it about halfway down the street when suddenly a large yellow magic circle appeared below my feet, and a barrier of light element mana materialized in front of me, trapping me inside with the hooded woman. I chantlessly cast a second circle wind spell, and 2 light green magic circles layered on top of each other appeared in front of me before a small arrow made out of wind shot out towards the barrier. The arrow crashed into the barrier and exploded into a small burst of wind and sparks as hope lit up in my heart, but that spark was quickly extinguished when I saw that my second circle spell didn't even scratch the barrier. The sound of footsteps sounded out behind me, and I fell backwards into the ground as I turned around to face the hooded woman with a terrified look on my face. Stay back! I'll blast you with magic if you come any closer. Please, miss, calm down. I'm not here to hurt you. The hooded woman took her hood off to reveal that she was an elf, too. She had a wry smile on her face and platinum blonde hair a little longer than mine, tied into a long ponytail, while her deep green eyes were covered with a pair of glasses hanging off her pointed ears. She slowly walked closer and extended her hand out to me on the ground as I sat there trembling in fear. Are you okay, miss? I'm sorry about trapping you so suddenly. It may have been scary, but I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to talk with you a bit. The woman softly grabbed my hand and helped me up off the ground. The barrier behind me was dispelled a second later, and everything returned to normal except for the woman now standing in front of me. Okay, now, this will definitely sound unbelievable, but here it goes. My name is Olivia Favarius, and I'm a heroic spirit serving under the goddess of love. A glowing white light appeared on top of Olivia's head as soon as she finished speaking, and I felt an incredible pressure radiating from her for the moment before the halo disappeared again along with the pressure. Oh, wait, she actually is a heroic spirit. Oh no, what have I done? My body immediately stiffened up, and I began to profusely apologize to Lady Olivia, staring at me with a confused smile. I am so sorry. Please forgive me, Your Holiness. I didn't know you were a heroic spirit. Wait, calm down. Look, it's okay. I'm not angry. Honestly, I would have done the same if some random person in a suspicious hooded cloak came up to me in an alleyway and asked me a ridiculous question. Isn't that right, Lady Eliza? This is your fault in the first place. Wait, bring her up. Huh? I stopped bowing and looked up at the moment to see Lady Olivia staring up at the sky with an angry smile on her face, while crossing her arms. After a moment of awkward silence, she let out a heavy sigh and face palm before calling out to me again. By the way, what's your name, miss? Rena Siltheme, Your Holiness. Miss Rena, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to borrow you for a moment. Lady Olivia stretched out her hand towards the ground, and suddenly another magic circle formed at our feet. I immediately began to panic before a flash of bright light blinded me, and suddenly I wasn't in front of my house anymore. Goddess of Love's divine domain. Eliza's house. Eliza's point of view. I ran outside and got into position in front of the ritual grounds as I thought about what pose to strike for the arrival of our new hire. You know what they say, the first impressions are the strongest, and if we're going to have someone new around here, the first thing we have to establish is a pecking order. Oh, looks like she's here already. A magic circle formed in the middle of the ritual grounds and shone brightly for a moment before Olivia and our new hire appeared in front of me. I immediately put both hands on my hips and leaned my head back and began to laugh evilly. Welcome to my divine domain! Once you're in here, your fate is in my hands. Stop that, you idiot. You're just scaring her more. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Olivia angrily throw something at me, and I instinctively took half a step to the side to avoid it at first, only to realize that it was flying past me, that Olivia had actually thrown the magical girl's staff. Ah, wait, the staff! I instantly pounced towards the staff and caught it in midair, before hugging it tightly as I tumbled along the lawn while protecting the staff with my own body. After I finally stopped rolling, I promptly got up and ran back to the ritual grounds with the staff in my hands. Phew, that was close. The only thing close here is my temper to snapping. I told you that we shouldn't have been so shady about it. Why did you think making me dress up suspiciously while standing around in an alleyway looking for magical girl candidates was a good idea? Well, I thought it would be cooler if, our new hire could get the staff from a mysterious hooded figure appearing from the darkness. It really gives you the sense that it's an ancient sacred artifact being passed to a chosen one instead of a toy that we made for fun and got bored of after a few weeks. I stood up there, pouting meekly, as I hid the staff behind my body and avoided eye contact with Olivia. She let out a sigh and stared at me in disappointment before face-palming. You know what? I'm done. Just handle the rest. I'm going to take a break. Olivia walked away past me and with an exhausted look on her face and entered the house, leaving me alone with our new hire. The awkward silence lasted a few moments as I stared curiously at the trembling elven girl on the floor in front of me. So, what's your name? Rena Silefley? All right, Rena. Today is your lucky day. You've been personally chosen by me, the goddess of love, to be a heroic spirit trainee in our new unpaid magical girl internship program. Wait, what? Heroic girl trainee? Rena slowly got up off the ground with trembling legs and a flabbergasted look on her face as I snickered at her a little. Wait, Your Holiness, I don't think I'm the right person for this. No need to be so stiff. Just Eliza's fine. Lady Eliza, I have no idea how to do anything like this. Please, I want to go home. Nonsense, you're perfect. Have a little more confidence in yourself. You don't need any experience either because this is exactly how you'll be getting all of it. That's why it's an unpaid internship. And anyway, it's not like you have much of a choice in this. Like I said before, you're in my divine domain. You can't leave without my permission, so your fate is in my hands. Now come on, newbie. Let's go back inside. Your first assignment is to be cleaning the house. Ugh. I twirled around and started walking towards the house as, behind me, Rihanna let out a defeated whimper and slipped down into depression for a few moments before catching up with me with tears in her eyes. Lady Eliza, I finished cleaning up the house. What should I do now? I was lying down on the sofa, halfway through another sappy romance novel, when Rena's voice brought me back into reality. I closed the book and looked up to see Rena staring at me with a broom in her hands and a helpless expression on her face. A quick glance around the now tidy living room showed me that Rena really finished cleaning the whole house, and after a moment, I sat up and nodded with approval. All right, good job, Rena. You've passed your initiation test with flying colors. Follow me. It's time for you to be officially hired, and I'll send you back home afterwards. Yes, Lady Eliza. Rena saluted me with tears that ran down her face as I grabbed the magical staff that was leaning against the arm of the sofa before walking outside again to the ritual grounds. After we arrived outside, I stopped in front of the ritual grounds and turned around to see Rena with some helpless smile plastered on her face. All right. With my authority as Goddess of Love, true name Eliza Stratus, I hereby announce that Rena Selfley will be officially granted the position of Heroic Spirit Trainee. She will be appointed the title of Magical Girl of Love along with the divine artifact as his reward of her excellence. I put on my serious face for a moment and inducted Rena into her unpaid internship before gently handing over the magical girl staff. Immediately after handing over the staff, I wiped the serious expression off my face, and the grave atmosphere disappeared along with it. Congratulations, you're now officially Rena Silefley, Magical Girl of Love. Wow, yay! I clapped my hands to cheer for her and mimicked an imaginary crowd as Rena stood there scratching her head with a confused face. Lady Eliza? What's a magical girl? Well, it's simply, now you're a magical warrior who fights in the name of justice and love. Warrior? Wait, who am I going to fight? I might have some natural talent for wind magic, but there's no way I could beat anyone even remotely strong. Don't worry. Of course I don't expect you to beat anyone too strong as is. You're still only a trainee, so I won't be throwing you into the fire just yet. Probably. Anyway, it's not like I'm just sending you out there by yourself. What you're holding in your hands right now is a genuine divine artifact. Just try channeling mana through it, and you'll see exactly how powerful it is. I gave Rena a confident smile as she skeptically channeled her mana through the magical girl staff. The ball of pure pink mana formed in the hook of the staff, and the glow completely enveloped Rena as she let out an astonished cry that was immediately drowned out by the music from the transformation sequence. After a few moments, the mass of pink mana burst into particles, revealing a completely lost Rihanna, dressed in a magical girl outfit as I nodded approvingly at her again. See, I told you that you'd be perfect for the job. The 3 basic requirements for any magical girl are the unrequited love, the natural talent for magic, and most importantly, the ability to look good in the costume. The moment I saw you, I knew that you would pass all 3 criteria with no problem. As I was definitely right, we might need to work on your pose at the end of the transformation sequence later, but for now, just test out the staff and try and use some magic. Magic. Is it okay to fire it here? Yeah, just fire it that way. I pointed to the open field past the ritual grounds, and Rena pointed her staff in the same direction before letting out a small cry as a small ball of pink mana in the hook of the staff turned to light green. Immediately, a dozen double-layered magical circles formed in front of her staff. The wind arrows shot out before converging onto the ground in the middle of the open field. A massive explosion of air blasted out from where the arrows converged, making our clothes and hair flitter around for a moment before the raging wind from the explosion died down. Rena stood there with a dumbfounded look as I gave her another approving nod and turned to her. Great! Looks like the staff is working pretty properly. I told you, didn't I? That's a genuine divine artifact. If I remember correctly, it should act as both a magical amplifier and a spare mana pool. Even the outfit should be tougher than a suit of heavy armor. So at the very least, you should be able to protect yourself from most people for now. Whoa. Anyway, I promised that I would send you back after this, so you can go for now. Here, take this pendant with you. I'll contact you through the pendant tomorrow, so be careful not to lose it. I pulled the heart-shaped pendant out from my pocket and placed it in the hand of the bewildered Rena as I cast the teleportation spell. The white magic circle lit up with a sharp glow as Rihanna let out a final confused shriek before she was sent back to the main plane. All right, I've worked a lot today. I think it's time for a well-deserved nap. I let out a yawn as I turned around and started walking back towards the house with a goofy smile on my face. The Goddess of Love's divine domain. Eliza's house. Rena's point of view. Lady Eliza, please wake up. It's already noon. The sunlight shone in through the window of the living room as I gently shook Lady Eliza, who was sleeping on the couch. But even after shaking her vigorously for a few moments, she wouldn't wake up. I stood there and panicked a bit as I thought about what to do when I heard Lady Olivia enter the room. Rena, don't bother. Lady Eliza won't wake up until she feels like it. Trust me, I've tried too many times. But won't she be cold sleeping out in the open like that? She'll be fine. Anyway, yesterday His Highness gave us some sandwiches when I went over for our monthly meeting, so I left one for you. It should be in the fridge. Oh, thank you, Lady Olivia. Lady Olivia smiled at me as she pointed towards the kitchen. I walked over and opened the fridge to see a sandwich on a plate. I took the sandwich out of the fridge and sat down at the kitchen table before starting to eat it. It's been about another year since I was forcibly hired as a magical girl by Lady Eliza. At first I thought I would be risking my life, but luckily the only thing I've done since then is clean up around the house and talk with Lady Eliza and Lady Olivia. Every once in a while, I never expected them to be so nice after what happened the first day. But it turns out that Lady Eliza is just a klutz while Lady Olivia is her voice of reason. To be honest, I even kind of enjoyed coming over to talk with them. I've always been shy, so I've never had that many friends. And while I've been improving on my social anxiety by working at a few different adventurers' guilds these past few summers, the only one I feel like I can freely talk to have been, well, Lady Eliza and Lady Olivia. As I finished the sandwich, I heard Lady Olivia's voice call out to me again before she entered the kitchen. "Oh, by the way, Rena, you said you would be starting school again soon, right?" "Yes, I'll be attending the Radion Royal Academy. That's where my aunt is." I guess you won't be coming over as often for a while then, right?" "Yeah, sorry." "No need to apologize. You've done more than enough for us. Actually, let me help you a bit this time. Come here. I'll read you the fortune of your unrequited love again." Huh? The blurry image of a gently smiling man with white hair that was tied into a ponytail resurfaced in my mind again. As the blush spread across my face, I remembered the delicate mix of emotions that ran through my mind when I met him for the first time. A faint, fuzzy warmth spread through my chest as Lady Olivia held my hand, closed her eyes, and stood still for a moment before opening them with a smile on her face. "Well, it's a little vague, like always, but I can tell you that you'll definitely have some good luck in terms of love with the Royal Academy. Just make sure that you take a class in ancient alchemy." I looked out the window with a soft smile on my face before I lightly slapped my cheeks with both hands and put on a determined expression. "Ancient alchemy, huh? All right. The magical girl of love, Rena Selfie, is on it."